Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ina, and today I'm going to be doing a look from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. And the main character I'm playing today will be from Audrey Hepburn's Holly Golightly. And I made an attempt to kind of do her little cute updo. It's the best that I can do with the little bit of hair I have, but I thought it would be cute. And then I also went ahead and put in a little bit of the L'Oreal Magic Root cover-up in light brown. I have this one and an older one that's a little bit lighter, and then this one kind of gave like the darker streaks. And let's go ahead and get started. Oh yes, I wanted to mention the lashes. There's a few scenes where she has lashes. I'm using the Teddy from Kiss. And the glue I'm using with this is right here, the Duo Quick-Set. I'll list everything down below. And then I thought it would be appropriate for the movie to have some really good smelling perfume on. So I have this from Clean called Scent Whipped Cherry and a little bit of Dior. And if you've seen the movie before, it's from 1961, so if there's any spoilers, sorry in advance, but it's been out for a little bit. I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't seen it before. Just really beautiful movie. And I'm going to go ahead and prep my skin real quick with a little bit of Armani. I wanted something kind of, and I believe this is hydrating. I just want to make sure it's hydrating because the foundation I'm using today, it's a little bit mattifying. A little too mattifying for my taste, but I think it works for this look. So I just put a little bit in my hand, and then with the It Cosmetics, I finally got one of these. Love is the foundation, and I got it specifically because it fits this video. It's definitely a love story. And let's get this on here. Feels really good. So the lashes are optional. There definitely are scenes where you can clearly tell there's lashes on. And so I decided for this look, since those scenes are so popular, we'll just put them on. But if you prefer not doing lashes, you definitely can do a similar look, but then just add a little bit of something kind of taupey glitter, not glittery, but like a shine to it, brown. This is Urban Decay Whiskey, and it'll give you, just swatch it back here. It has a little bit of shimmers to it, and it will give you the more natural look that she has in certain scenes. But in the party scene in where she meets the main character, George Pippard, is the actor's name, and his character's name is Paul Varjak. She definitely has some sort of eyeliner, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for today, and that's really perfect. We're going to go ahead and use the Nars Sheer Glow. This is the original, and that's the color. This foundation is definitely full coverage, or medium to full coverage, and it's more of a matte finish. So I've been looking for a primer that makes it a little less matte, since my skin is so dry. Even prepped like this is it needs a little extra moisture. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of concealer, and this is the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and the color is Creme Brulee. I remember people talking about this book when I was in college. I'm just going to use a Real Techniques fluffy brush to blend it in. And I really wish I would have read the original book. The author is Truman Capote. And I just heard it's really well written. It's kind of a short book in terms of it doesn't have that many pages. And we all love a concise story, but it is, the themes, when they had to film this movie, they had to be very careful because there's a lot of censoring. And I'll read in a little bit, like a little snippet of what the movie's about in case you have not heard about it. But Holly Golightly has had a lot of life in a little bit of time. Like, she was 14 when she was married, and her brother Fred, it seemed like they were runaways or out just trying to survive outside, and they get picked up by a veterinarian that she eventually marries. And then I'm going to use this for the eyelids. And later that marriage gets annulled and she leaves. Her brother goes to the army and she meets someone from Hollywood who, in order to get rid of her accent and to just train her to speak a certain way, they gave her French lessons. And I like how, like, a lot of actors kind of had to learn how to speak a certain way because movies done at this particular time and before, you had a certain dialect that was expected from you. So if you notice a lot of movies, people kind of having the same accent, unless it was like specific, like for example, there is a country accent with Mag Wilder. I know if I got her name wrong. Sorry. But ideally you didn't have an accent. So she's kind of like more there for as a foil to show you what was not appropriate for Hollywood. Okay, so we got those things done and we'll just scooch it out the way. And I really like how that looks with the Armani as a base, really smooth. And then we're gonna go ahead and do the eyebrows real quick. So the Maybelline Tattoo Studio. But they're trying to go ahead and create a future Hollywood star with her. And I'm looking for my, here it is, L'Oreal Faux Brow. they're trying to make her a Hollywood starlet, and she puts a lot of work into achieving her goals. You can see, like, later on when she goes to the library, like when she gets her mind set onto something, she really goes all in. I think I'm going to do just a little bit of the Super Fluff from Maybelline as well, because we're trying to mimic some gorgeous yet natural looking eyebrows. And the makeup had changed a lot. So starting with this film, let's see, because I don't want it, I think I'm going to just brush it up like that. I'll take a brush and blend that a little bit, that came out too much. Yeah. And just taking a small, I think this is the MAC 266 brush. We're just gonna feather that out a little bit. So I want it very defined but natural. So this makeup was done in 1961. I have done a Marilyn Monroe look. So for contrast, and I like how this movie kind of shows, there's a party that she's throwing, and I'm going to do a little bit of the multitasker from Rimmel down below. I usually do like powder down here, but I wanted something, and a little goes a long way, so we're just going to dot. Because we're mimicking really good lighting. And we're going to use the NYX, just any dense brush. So there was a shift in makeup, and I like in the party scene you kind of get to see what's currently in style in terms of the gray eyeshadow. So movies from that time started to use gray eyeshadow, and in the party scene, Holly Golightly definitely has more gray in her eyes. For this look, we might put a little bit of gray. So I'm kind of like mixing the two scenes, but I'm primarily doing the kind of taupey color that you see when she first lets in George into the building. I'm obsessed with her orange cat. So smart. I know it's like allegedly trained. I don't know if you can actually train cats, but I love how it's an orange cat and he's kind of like waking her up like, hey, someone's buzzing at the door. Get up. She just got home like a little bit ago. Looks really good. Okay. And then we're gonna do some, before we go any further actually, a little bit of L'Oreal Infallible Blur-Fection. I like the name of that. We're just gonna set underneath the eyes. And this will also help kind of, and then just a loose fluffy brush. It will also give it a little bit more of a smooth appearance. And I like to run the same powder up into the brows. I just find, because I don't have too many eyebrows, it locks in whatever I use to fake. And eyebrows are important. Like, you see how that gives structure to the face? And we might put some more, but for now, And before putting in the powder, if it has crease on you, make sure that you dab it with your finger. It seems to look okay for me. I usually have an issue with up here, so I will make sure to kind of pat it out before I powder. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury. And I want, again, we're kind of faking really good lighting. So for me, Audrey Hepburn doesn't really need this on her forehead, but for me, I like a little bit of contour there. We already did underneath. And then almost all the actresses had some sort of something. Just a lightly contouring right here. So we're going to do the same. I believe Audrey Hepburn was a ballerina before. You definitely want to take a look at her backstory, but she has like a dancer's body, and she's very petite, very, I don't want to say thin, and again you can take a look at her history, but I'm kind of making sure that we're as structured, as thin on my face as possible. And I think we're okay to set, so we'll use whatever's left on top here with a kind of loose brush. Her face definitely has very little shine to it, so it's definitely set with some sort of powder. Okay, and let's do a little bit of blush just to kind of finish the base, and this one's called Love is the Drug. This is definitely a love story, and it is, I like it because it is not so straightforward. A lot of the circumstances make it so it's kind of hard for it to be a love story, because although they're both good looking, they're both charming, they're both very smart, because of how they earn their living, it makes things it makes it very complicated. And also it's important to kind of note, please look at, historical things when you watch movies from a certain time, because once a woman was married, like, you couldn't having a checking account wasn't as simple. I think that was more toward the 70s, and correct me if I'm wrong down below, just for other people to see, but I know it was complicated. So she is after millionaires under 50, and it's her goal to take care of her brother Fred. I already mentioned he's in the army. She can't seem, although she's doing pretty well, she points out, like, I make $50 per powder room visit, and we're going to do a little bit of mascara, so just some of the Voluminous from L'Oreal, just on my natural lashes underneath. Just, and that will kind of bind these two together, making it look more cohesive. And she does the math for him in one of the scenes. He's like, wow, you do that, you get $50? Like, he's in awe. And the lady that's supporting him is married. But like, things were so different, like, and for a long time. I kind of want that to dry without looking down. So she's technically having an affair. Like, it's not, she's supporting him, yes, and that's good for him, but she is having an affair. And the odds are her husband's probably having an affair on her as well. Divorce was complicated. How money was handled was complicated, even if it was your own money. And so everything was, if you put it in context, it makes a little more sense what Holly Golightly wants to do and why she's kind of struggling. Like, she's just like, I don't know what I want. Because although she wants to marry a rich man, because if you're gonna just be someone's housewife, it's not even a housewife, like, they're not really marrying you, they're marrying her for her looks. She's young, she's good looking, she's charming. So she's also marrying for security. And one of the guys who she calls a big, is he a big rat? I think he's just a rat. No, he's a big rat. That she was flirting with in the party ends up being super broke. So, like, the guys lie, you know? It's a whole thing. Don't feel too bad for anyone. We're gonna go ahead in the Natasha Denona and then just put in a little bit of stone mixed with mesh, just so you see the colors, and kind of start making an outline of where I want to put the oops. Did I already did? Yeah, I did. Okay, so we're gonna blend it out. And just kind of creating an outline, because different scenes have very bare makeup, just kind of giving a little bit of dimension. But I'm doing a combination of when she first opens the door, and then for that you see this kind of beautiful taupey color and the tiniest bit of shimmer. We're also going to put that color inside here. In the party where it's more gray, you could definitely put like either tape, or you can clean it with concealer or with makeup remover, but it's a very crisp, sharp line. Since I'm doing the opening scene, it's a little bit more blended, it's a little softer. Trolley. So yeah, he was lying, and he married for money. So again, do not feel bad. Things were definitely not on the side of women. That's a modern thing. So although she's trying to marry for money and that looks bad on the surface, guys were marrying for money too. So you have to watch the movie with an open mind and maybe a little bit of historical context so you're not like passing judgment where it doesn't quite make sense. But what I like is that George makes Holly kind of face what she's doing. Like, you can't just marry someone for their money. Like, I get it, but it's like you're trapped to that person. I don't know. It's complicated. And she calls him out also, like, hey, you know, when was the last time you wrote a book? And also, you're being funded by a rich lady. Like, what's happening? You can't judge me. And because of that, he ends up writing a book. And she ends up figuring out, what does she want in her life? Like, for real. And I can relate to that. Like, you know, not everything is easy, and it's just so fun. Like, it's fun. And the fashion. Okay, let's get started with the fashion. So to give you like a modern context, Balenciaga, I wrote it down here, Spring Summer 2026 Paris. Watch that show. It's on YouTube. And the very two last dresses has that beautiful long black Audrey Hepburn look, or Holly Golightly, because it's for the movie. And the only difference they did is that they put for the sleeves white sleeves. And they have this gorgeous kind of like headpiece with like diamante on it. And it's just, it reminded me of this movie, and I'm like, I have to do that look, and I have to do it quickly because, you know, we're already in spring, summer. I'm so confused. I'm not too big in fashion, but I can appreciate gorgeous art any day, every day. And then really quick, while I'm over here, I went ahead and put a few things that I thought, so I have a little bit of a diamond, pearls, because she wears pearls, and then some glitzy things. And then that's for her obsession with marrying rich. And then who she ends up with. Okay, I want to do a little bit of shimmer, so I'm just looking at my colors real quick. And it's not too much, so I think we're going to start with Whisper. Because there's definitely some shimmer here. When she opens the door, that's going to be our base, because it's a little bit too light. And I love that they're using these taupey colors. So this is colors we see today, but this would have been like the first time seeing this type of makeup in film. So imagine going to the movies and seeing what would be the first time you kind of see this iconic kind of look. And then let's put a little bit of, let me see, let me look at my palettes. Maybe a little bit of Soulmate from the Jeffree Star palette. And this is kind of incorporating that gray, but I'm keeping it taupey. If you wanted to make it gray, then you could do Under the Veil for the Jeffree Star palette, or Smoke from the Divination palette, so kind of more of a gray. So you can kind of see the color that I'm referencing. And I'm keeping it taupey. so Soulmate. And we're just gonna very lightly emphasize that outer edge. Getting the rest out, and then maybe a little bit of Delilah. Let's see if that's dark enough. Yeah, perfect. Just mix it in. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do a quick liner. I have the Lancome Artliner. And you definitely see a line. So there are different makeup variations in the movie. So I'm picking the one that has the eyeliner. And really, this is kind of her look where she's going out. With her rats, as she refers to them. So it's just a little bit more done up, like the lashes are there, the eyeliner's there. She's dressed up really well. Okay, and then while that's drying, I'm just taking the other end of that brush and I may have to do some black or a dark color real quick, but let's see. Here. We'll take a little bit of my mascara. I don't want anything when she looks down, there's no oh, that's nice. Okay. And for the lips, we're doing Dior 259. And this is as close as I can find to what I see color-wise on her lips in the movie. There's a famous line where she is in a taxi, it's toward the end of the movie, and she's referring to her scared little mouse, Jose. He's kind of breaking things off with her, and she's like so upset. She's like, no, no, no. Let me do my lips first. And so you get like a nice close-up of her putting on her lipstick, and This reminds me of the color. And I bought it specifically for this video because I'm like, this is, I think I found the shade. For the actual lip color, we're gonna do 219. And she like opens it all dramatic. And it's kind of like a peachy nude. A little bit of pink in it. She's like bracing herself for potentially having bad news. So, let's take, just to soften everything a little bit, I'm taking a clean brush and then going along the outside because this is really soft. And then for the top, you can put Fair from the Natasha Denona. Just any close to your skin color. Really blend that out. And I think that's everything. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love the movie. Do watch it if you've never seen it before. I hope you appreciate the attempt to make a bouffant. I think that's what it's called. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me and it helps the channel out. And I hope you have a wonderful day.